welcome back. Today I would like to talk about one of my favorite anchors, which is using the sense of hearing. As you can imagine, being a musician, I worked a lot with that. But it's one of the senses that is the most prominent in most people. The two most prominent senses are the seeing and the hearing. So we use the sense of hearing because first of all, when you're sitting with closed eyes, it's definitely the most dominant in everybody. As soon as we close the eyes, when we remove one of the senses, the one that are left get amplified more. And listening is beautiful because first of all, the ears are always open, unlike the eyes that you can close them and open them. The ears are always receiving sounds, and in that sense they're a very passive, almost feminine, we could say, sense. The way we apply that is basically bringing all our attention to the sounds, much like what we do when we observe our thoughts or emotions. Without any judgment, we apply that same thing to the sound. So we listen to sounds without any preference, without any judgment of, oh, this is a nice sound, it's very conducive to meditation, I like it, and this one, oh, this is so disturbing, I wish it was not there. So we just let all sounds be exactly as they are, without any interpretation. And what happens is that when we put our full attention to the sound, to the listening, the mind naturally slows down and comes eventually to a stop. Because again, the same energy that goes into the thinking process is suddenly being put into the perception of the sound. And therefore it's much like taking the fuel away from an engine. So the engine of the thinking mind slows down and eventually stops because there is no more fuel going there. And so it's a very beautiful, completely effortless way to calm down the egoic mind. It requires just a very focused attention. We have to put really all our attention to the sounds. In other words, we have to listen with totality. And once we do that, to me it's very magical. Everything becomes very quiet, very silent inside. And the sounds, they also acquire a certain quality, which is, I don't know how to describe it, but I would say a certain sweetness to them. It's almost like every sound is in the perfect place. It's like listening to the great symphony of existence. I would of course recommend in the beginning maybe to use, if you have the opportunity to go out in nature, go out in nature, because it's really the easiest and the most amazing experience to listen to the sound of the birds, or the sound of the ocean, of a water of a lake, or a river running, or a stream in the mountains, or the wind through the pine trees, or anything that you will hear is just an amazing symphony. But that can also be done anywhere and wherever you are. It's just that in nature is a good start. It's because it's very easy. But you will see as you progress and practice more this meditation, you can do it anywhere. And that's again the beauty of it. It doesn't need extra time. You can do it at the marketplace. You can do it wherever you are. For example, I do it oftentimes at the airports when I travel, because anywhere I have 1 or 2 hours sitting there and I have nothing to do, and I just close my eyes and listen, and there is a lot of sounds there, and most of the time they're quite soft. They're not like very strong sounds. So I find it very conducive, and I practice my meditation in the airports around the world when I travel. So you will see you can do it anywhere. It's really not what you listen to, but the quality that you bring to the listening. And the famous mystic poet Rumi once said, "When I become very still, I fall into the place where everything is music." So what he is saying is exactly that. It's the quality of, it's how I listen that creates that magic of sounds. And you probably know by experience, but if you don't, you will notice it as you practice this, that the more silent you become inside, the more you can hear. Yeah, to the point that when you're really, really quiet, you might hear sounds that you would not even have noticed in a normal day-to-day experience. Then between sounds, you will also notice that there is silence. So if there are no sounds, or if there are sounds in between sounds, we can listen to the silence if they're not continuous, or if there are no sounds at all, there is silence. The beauty of silence is that it's always there. I will talk about silence more in the next video, where I will be talking about the S Trinity, what I call the S Trinity. I'll tell you more. But for now, it's good to just underline that silence is always there. It's like the container of all sounds. So when the sounds are not there, there is silence. When the sound happens or arises, it exists, but underneath there is always the silence. And then when sounds disappear, it disappears back into silence, back where it came from. So silence exists at all times. Silence is the container that contains everything. It contains all sounds. So a deeper level of this meditation, as you practice it, is that you will start not only to pay attention to the sounds, but also to the silence. And my master Osho once told me, you have to listen in silence to silence. And at that time I was like, I was pretty young, and I was like, I'm not sure what he's talking about. But through time and with practice, I really started understanding what a powerful anchor that is. Because you will start feeling that it's the silence inside of you that is listening to the silence, let's say outside. But really at a certain point you will start feeling, well, it's the same silence. So I don't want to push it too far for you guys and make it too mystical, but you might start feeling that everything happens in that silence. And the silence inside and the silence outside, they start merging. And you might start feeling everything is happening inside of you, even though it's physically on the outside. So we start playing with that expansion of consciousness. We start playing with the fact that, and experiencing the fact that, well, maybe my consciousness is not only limited to the contour of my physical body, but I am bigger than that. So this is a powerful meditation to experiment with, and I'm excited to pass it on to you. I also worked, and I'm still working, with a 1 hour guided meditation where I use live music, and I call it Doorway to Silence, and it's all centered around this, around the art of listening, let's call it. I will put a link for you on the box, on the description of the video. But if you look at my channel and you look 1 hour guided meditation, Doorway to Silence, when you have time, try it out. It's a beautiful, powerful meditation. There's beautiful live music that comes with it. It's basically structured with music and silence alternating. And I will guide you through the meditation there as well. So it's very user-friendly, let's say. Another thing I could recommend is for you to read my blog on Shastro.com. There is one particular writing that is called Sound, Silence, and the Exploration of Consciousness. It's a beautiful writing that I wrote a few years ago when I was in India, and it's really diving deep into this particular issue and the sounds and the silence and my experience around that. So I will put that link also at the end of this video, or in the text below in the description of the video. Okay, so I let you to your own practice, and I will also make a shorter guided meditation, like 10 minutes when you don't have time for you to practice. When you don't have time for the hour or 50 minutes Doorway to Silence, you can do the short one. But basically, you can do it wherever you are, and you can start practicing right now if you want, after you turn off this video. Okay, thanks for listening again, and I'll see you the next time.